Nick, we'll start with you. Who has had the better offseason so far? The Buccaneers or the Patriots?
The Buccaneers have had the better offseason, and I think there is a very simple and easy comparison that I think all of my wonderful colleagues will agree with from this year's free agency to last year's free agency. The 2021 Bucs are doing what the 2020 Chiefs did, and that led to the Chiefs, after winning the Super Bowl, starting 14-1 and getting back to the Super Bowl. And the 2021 Patriots are doing what the 2020 Miami Dolphins did, and that led to the Dolphins getting up to 10 wins, doubling their win total, and almost making the playoffs. So I think they are both making good moves, but the team that was the best team in football at the end of the season, keeping everyone together, nearly everyone. We'll see what happens with Antonio Brown and some of the other guys, but the key pieces is way better than a team last year that I would argue was not actually as good as the 7-win record suggests. 2 of those wins came on a field goal at the gun. An extra win came against the Jets. I think the Patriots played more like a 5 or 6 win team last year. That team, reloading talent-wise, or I guess I should say loading talent-wise, Brandon, is good, but it's not as good as what the Tampa Bay Bucs did, at least in my estimation.
Yeah, Nick, I'm with you when you're right. This one, you're wrong, buddy. The Patriots had the better offseason. They had the better free agency so far. The Bucs did exactly what they were supposed to do. We know they went to the Super Bowl. We know they won it. They're supposed to run it back. But when you look at free agency, in my mind, it's about making your team better and putting yourself in a position to be able to compete at a higher level. So the Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, they did that. Now you're going to see coaching on full display next year, week in and week out. He can now go back to doing what he's always done, and that's 12 personnel, being able to hone in on key matchups. You got tight ends versus linebackers and safeties. That's going to be a huge matchup for the New England Patriots, going against most of these teams with weak linebackers that can't cover. A lot of these guys can hit, but they can't move. They can't stop. So when you look at how the New England Patriots are set up, I think they're going to be in position to compete. I love what they're doing as far as bringing back Matt Patricia. Didn't work out as a head coach. The mad scientist with the pencil in his ear just didn't work out in Detroit. But when we talk about defensive coordinator, he was right where he needed to be when he was in New England. So I love that. There you go, buddy. Put your pen in your ear. And I love Josh McDaniels. So I got to go with your team, resident Patriots fan, the Patriots. Let's go.
Thank you. I thought you were going to talk about the resident GM. I just don't want to let this pass. Nicholas, I don't know if your role as resident GM allows you to give and take wins, because if you do, could I also request that we won against the Bills when Cam fumbled and we won against the Seahawks when we got stuffed at the 1? So actually, 9-7, not 5-11. Big turn of events. I'm going to go with, believe it or not, folks, that the Patriots had the best offseason. And it's not just my hometown fandom, although it does have a significant weight to it. Our friends at Pro Football Focus, the geniuses, released their improvement index. And whenever there is a graphic that supports the Patriots being great, I'm like, guys, we need to get this in the show. They are the #1 team on Pro Football Focus's improvement. Do we have the graphic? No, but we will later in the show. So here's what happened, Nick. We signed Cam. We signed Trent Brown. Then we went on the free agent frenzy. Then we got Hunter Henry, and I'm like, surely we're done. Nope, still coming. Then we got Kyle Van Noy. But under every parade, a little rain must fall, and we're probably going to have to say goodbye to our wonderful captain and center, David Andrews, to the point, oh, hey, welcome back, everybody. It's the improvement graphic. And then we're talking about Julian Edelman released his Instagram post saying goodbye to David Andrews. And I said, you know what? Hall of Famer Julian Edelman, you're right. Just like we lost Joe Tooney, that's okay. But guess what? Re-signed, Nick. So I'm going to say that the Patriots had the better offseason.
So, I'm not going to relitigate the Bills game with you, but no game has been more misremembered. If Cam didn't fumble, the Patriots were kicking a field goal to tie. to go to overtime. And I'm not here to extol the virtues of the Bills, but assigning everyone's like, if they would have won this one, if they would have won this one, they won 7 games. 2 of those wins came at the gun. Nobody thought that was a good team last year. But I appreciate and respect
including
the
Belichick.
moves that they made. But you know that some of this was out of desperation. And when you act out of desperation, you are not able to be as judicious with your decisions as the Patriots typically are. And so, Brandon, I look at what the Bucs did, and I feel like I'm going to be struck down by a bolt of lightning right now because I'm going to talk about how great the Bucs offseason was. I don't know that I feel like they overpaid for anybody. Maybe Godwin, now that we see the receiver market, but it's a 1-year franchise tag, so that doesn't hurt you long term. I feel like the Patriots had to overpay a bit for Jonnu, for Hunter Henry, for Judon.
Right.
And so that, to me, factors into who had the better offseason, the value you got in retaining your players or in going out and overpaying guys.
Yeah, well, to me, man, the NFL is about 1-year contracts. And a lot of this stuff we don't even know. When you look at these contracts, Nick, we don't know what they really are. You know, you hear about these guarantees, you hear about it, but when you really look at the language, a lot of these 3-year deals are 1-year deals where the Patriots can get out. Don't forget, man, Bill Belichick, we know who he is as the head coach. We know who he is as the general manager. We've been crushing him. He hasn't done a phenomenal job as far as drafting guys the last 10 years or so. But at the end of the day, this thing right here, when you talk about managing the cap and managing the team and managing people, he is the best in the business, not just in football, but in a lot of industries. A lot of people study his management skills and his leadership skills. So when you look at these contracts, we really got to hold off until we understand exactly what they are. Because a lot of these 3-year deals, a lot of these 4-year deals, it sounds big and it sounds pretty, but they're really 1-year, 2-year deals where they can get out of it. So when we think about this question, as far as winning free agency, it's about, can you compete next year? 1-year deals, Jenna, and the New England Patriots are going to be right back where they need to be.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.